Are you seeking access to a pest management product for a particular crop? The IR4 project welcomes input from stakeholders to help shape our research cycle. By submitting a project clearance request, also commonly called a PCR, project request, or request for assistance, stakeholders in the specialty crop community can bring these pest management needs or voids to the attention of the IR4 project. In this video, we will show you how to complete and submit a project clearance request form to IR4's Food Use, Residue, and Product Performance Program. Our national research program develops data to support the registration of various types of crop protection products on specialty crops, as well as minor uses on major crops. If you think specialty crop growers would benefit from getting legal access to a particular pest management product, you can submit a PCR. Any individual can submit this form unless they are employed by the registrant of the product in question. To submit a new PCR, visit the IR4 webpage, ir4project.org. Click the Submit a Request button at the top right corner of the main page and select the Residue and Product Performance form under the Food Crops section. Alternatively, you can find this form by clicking on the Food Crops tab at the top, selecting Residue and Product Performance, and clicking the green Submit button. You will be directed to a new page where you will be asked to provide your email address. Enter your email, click Submit, and then OK. Within a few seconds, you should receive an email with a validation code. Enter the code into the blank field and click Submit. First-time users will be prompted to choose one of two options regarding whether or not their contact information should be saved. The first option is recommended and will save your information for future use. If you choose this option, you will be directed to enter your contact information. Then, you will check a box agreeing that this is only for IR4 food use program purposes. When you're ready, click Submit. After submitting, you'll be able to confirm that your contact information was saved correctly. Click Submit to confirm. You will receive an email prompting you to create a login for next time. Either now or later, follow the link to create a username and password. Now, you're ready to begin the PCR submission. You'll see that Section 1 is automatically filled out with your contact information, and you can proceed to Section 2. The second option is not to save your information. In this case, you will manually enter your contact information into Section 1 of the PCR form each time. Now, you have access to the form. You will see your email address at the top, followed by a series of questions, beginning with the requester's contact information. For each question, there are blank fields where you can enter the information. Fields with a red asterisk are required, while the others are optional. In Section 1, name, affiliation, state, and phone number are all required fields. Moving on to Section 2, add the common name, also called the active ingredient, of the pesticide you would like to see registered. For example, let's say you are interested in registering the commercial product Harvanta, which has the active ingredient cycloniliprole. Start by typing cycloniliprole in the blank field. Section 2A is not required. If you have spoken to the registrant about your interest in obtaining access to this pesticide for a specific crop, please list their name in the blank field. If you haven't spoken to the registrant, you can skip this field. Under Section 3, specify the crop of interest. Let's say you want to register the use of cycloniliprole on dry bulb onion. Type dry bulb onion in the first blank field. Below, there are some fields that are not required, although filling out this information helps us and the registrant to have a better understanding of the crop and its market. If possible, please specify the desired use site. This is where you anticipate using the pesticide, such as in the field or greenhouse. For example, let's say you'd like to use Harvanta in the field because that's where dry bulb onion grows. Simply type field next to use site. Continue by adding the parts of the crop that are commonly consumed, any byproducts that are used as animal feed, the typical planting and harvest seasons in your region, as well as the number of acres grown locally and on a national level. Any information you can share here is helpful. Section 4 is also not required, but if there are international implications for the registration you have in mind, this information could be helpful for IR4 or the registrant. Let's say dry bulb onion is an export commodity, and China and Thailand are key export markets. Click Yes and type China and Thailand in the blank field next to key export market. The next question asks if there are maximum residue levels, or MRLs, established in these markets. MRLs define the highest level of pesticide residue that is legally tolerated when particular pesticides are applied. Let's say you know that Thailand has an MRL established for cyclonilprole. You would select Yes and type Thailand in the blank field next to which markets. Section 5 asks you to specify the target pest you want to manage. If you are submitting a request for a plant growth regulator, enter the potential effect of that product. This is a required field. Let's say you want access to cyclonilprole to manage onion thrips. Type in onion thrips. If you are submitting this request for a plant growth regulator, enter the potential effect of that product rather than a target pest. Let's say you need a product for fruit thinning in your apple orchard. You would type fruit thinning into this field. Section 6 is also required. This is where you can explain why the use is needed. Continuing with the previous example, here you would explain why you want to add Harvanta to your pest management toolbox. Please add a reasonable justification that explains this need. Some examples of a reasonable justification include: the number of effective products to manage the pest is very limited. The registered products to manage the pest are ineffective. One or more of the key products are no longer allowed for use, and a valid alternative is needed. Section 7 asks about the compatibility of the proposed pesticide with the principles of integrated pest management, or IPM. This is a required section. Let's say that Harvanta plays a significant role in existing IPM programs for other crops. In this case, select the option Good Fit and add your justification in the blank field below. Some examples of good IPM fit include: the product is relatively non-toxic to beneficials. The product is useful in controlling pest populations with established pesticide resistance. The product is compatible with the current cultural pest management practices. The product plays a significant role in an existing integrated pest management program. Section 8 asks for use pattern details for the proposed pesticide label. This section is important, so please share as many details as you can. If you're unsure, you may type unknown in any of the required fields. Let's say you are interested in a dosage rate equal to 0.054 pounds of active ingredient per acre, or 16.4 fluid ounces of product per acre. You also know that you want to apply the product as a foliar spray 3 times at a retreatment interval of 7 days, with a 7-day pre-harvest interval, or PHI. First, type Harvanta in the blank field next to trade name. Then, continue adding your information in the next 5 fields: dosage rate, type of application, number of applications, retreatment interval, and pre-harvest interval. The 2 blank fields below are optional. Please provide additional directions for use, potential limitations, and special safety precautions, if you know of any. Finally, Section 9 asks if you have any preliminary data you have generated on Harvanta demonstrating that the product is safe on the crop and effective against the pest of interest, or a similar one. Let's say you have generated efficacy trials in the past against thrips. Click Yes next to efficacy and No next to phytotoxicity and yield. Send the efficacy data in an attachment via email to IR4 Project Clearance Request at ncsu.edu after submitting this form. Click the red Submit Request button at the bottom of the page. Congratulations! You have completed and submitted a PCR form. To ask questions or seek assistance with this form, please reach out to your regional field coordinator or headquarters staff. Contact information is listed on our website's contacts page. Thank you for your involvement in IR4's research process.